What's up everyone, it's Adam from FWCI and this is a little sneak peek of a longer video that I've uploaded over on the FWCI Sports and Gaming channel. I did a deep dive with NBA Straya's Jaymz Clements into the Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman rivalry in 1998 that spanned from the basketball court to the wrestling ring. So we have World Wrestling Straya and NBA Straya talking about the basketball wrestling relationship with Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman. Hope you enjoy this little sneak peek and go subscribe to FWCI Sports and Gaming for the full 45-minute video. Let's get to it. Well, you also mentioned the shot as well, but this is something I think Malone might have been influenced by. So just before the shot, is that where Jordan strips the ball from Karl Malone?
Yep.
You have a look at how wildly Malone is holding the ball away from Dennis Rodman during that play. And that's what gave Jordan that opportunity to just grab it. And you have to think that with, Rodman's, type of defense that he plays, how he's just so, up in everyone's face, maybe if and that could have just happened with Dennis Rodman anyway, but who knows, maybe that extra, layer of pressure might have been enough to make Karl Malone say, nah. And then, what happens after that?
Yeah. Jordan taps it away as he sort of turns away from Rodman. And maybe you're right about the animosity maybe just fed into just that little bit more. And he's like, fuck, it's Rodman. I'm going to get away from that. And away you go.
I honestly think that not affected the outcome of the series, but that particular play, I think Rodman was well and truly in Malone's head at that point, and Jordan was just lurking around, and that helped win the game.
And I mean, what a precursor to an actual, wrestling match, a month later.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's just so good. What a wild scene. It's just so cool to have two dudes going hammer and tongs in the NBA finals. And then a month later, they actually wrestle. Unbelievable.
Well, it was only 4 days later. There was a press conference at Planet Hollywood in LA. They had Hogan and Rodman there. They had DDP and Karl Malone there. I think one of the lines that Hogan uses is that the podium in between them is the invisible line to separate the champions from the not champions. And Malone calls Hogan a sissy at some point as well. But I think the highlight of this press conference is the quote from Karl Malone where he says,
"There's three things I wanted to do growing up as a kid. I wanted to be a state trooper, I wanted to fly jets, and I wanted to wrestle."
Which is just hearing them say wrestle with that southern accent is just absolutely hilarious.
Love it.
The press conference was absolutely enormous. Apparently, DDP was saying, I've seen big press conferences, but this was just next level. This was something else entirely. So, they announced the match on the 18th. And then Thursday, the 24th of June, DDP appears on WCW Thunder via telephone, apparently calling from Utah and announcing that him and Karl Malone are about to get in Malone's semi-trailer and drive to Tampa for Monday Night Nitro the next week. And he challenges Hogan to bring the pencil neck geek Rodzilla to Nitro with him as well. I did a little bit of a Google search. It takes 34 hours to drive from Salt Lake City to Tampa. For some reason, it took DDP and Karl Malone 96. So we had the following Monday, the show opened with a helicopter shot of a semi-trailer driving down the freeway towards the arena. So they build up to this moment throughout the whole show. They keep cutting to this footage of this, helicopter shot of a semi-trailer. Hogan and Bischoff have a promo. They mentioned that the NWO is waiting for the truck in the car park, and they've got chains and crowbars and pipes, and they're waiting on this impending arrival. During the show, there's a talk show segment that looks like The Tonight Show with Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner, who had a great line dissing Karl Malone because he's part of the NWO, says, calling you the mailman is false advertisement because you haven't delivered anything, especially in the last 2 years in the playoffs, which is not a bad little burn there from Big Papa Pump. They arrive in the truck, right? The NWO is out in the car park waiting for them. They've got their chains, they got their pipes, they got their, everything. The truck pulls up and the NWO just scatter. They just run away. They didn't hit the truck. They didn't challenge him. They all just fled because someone pulled up in a semi-trailer. So, and they basically attack Hogan and Bischoff. Malone gets Hogan in a triangle choke. Then he hits him with a body slam, and then he hits him with 3 clotheslines. And then he says, "You want some? Come get some," which would have gone to be John Cena's catchphrase 20 years later. So, Karl Malone dropping a bit of John Cena knowledge well before the day. But it was wild seeing Karl Malone on Nitro on a regular basis, just showing up as like a part of the show and a character. Rodman, you kind of got used to it, but Malone was way more a case of like, why is he here? Like,
what's he doing? Like, seriously, what is he doing? He's an two-time MVP at this point. What are you doing, Karl? That's awesome.
But the next week, so this is where it really kind of kicks off, because it starts off with a promo from Malone and DDP. Malone says he's going to whoop Rodman's ass like Madonna should have. And then he dubs himself the Rodzilla Killer. So Malone actually cutting a pretty decent promo a couple of weeks in a row, to be honest. But what was big about this particular show was the main event was Hulk Hogan versus Goldberg for the WCW Championship. Hogan was the big heel holding the title. Goldberg was 108-0 at that point. Current United States champion. He'd run out of people to beat, so they finally put him in the match with Hogan. This is such a historic match because, first of all, a lot of people were saying, why the fuck did you put this on free TV? Why did you not put this on a pay-per-view? They only gave it like a week's worth of promotion. It's, famously one of the biggest lost opportunities for a huge payday. And these guys were just making bank at the time as well. So the match is set. Hogan's in the main event. DDP and Malone are still in the arena and allowed Goldberg to win the championship. So one of the most historic title reigns in WCW history started because Karl Malone was giving Mr. Perfect the diamond cutter in the entrance ramp.
That's weird and gnarly, isn't it? Like, holy crap. I didn't realize the extent that Malone was like part of the show in the lead up. That's insane.